And welcome back to another edition of High School Game Day Live. We are back for Week 8 action between the Dons and the Vikings of St. Laurence. And welcome to the panel that just happened to get a little bit bigger. It's Danny Berg, Mac Ross, Caden Frawley, and Hank Friedrich. It's the, what comes after trio? Is it a quadro?
Quad, yeah.
A quad. All right, we'll go with a quad because that makes sense, doesn't it? Well, it's a big one tonight. The Dons are back after 3 weeks. After destruction of the Rams, sent them off with Happy Hoko.
Yep.
Best line of the night.
Yep.
You all missed it, so now I get to rip on you for that. It's going to be a fun night, that's for sure. It's senior night, even bigger. It's going to be one of the last opportunities for these guys to actually play a game. But I think one of the cool things about how this schedule ended up working is that these seniors are going to get to play their last 2 games on their home turf.
Yep. Yeah, I think obviously kind of an up-and-down season for them, but like you said, they have a great chance to finish their season strong, but also for the seniors, finish their 4-year Notre Dame career off strong.
Yeah, it sure is nice to have the final 2 home games here at Legends Field. These Dons like to perform at home. Everyone's going to be there. It's going to be a nice crowd for our Dons. And to top everything off, icing on the cake, it's senior night too, so emotions will be high for those seniors, and they're going to get after it today.
Yeah, that's just what I was about to say. This is one of the bigger games of their high school career, and it's going to be hyped up with all the students that we're going to have there tonight.
So let's take a look at what we got coming up today for this show. At 4:32, we're going to have Mike Galeno, who is the Girl Club moderator, the Ultimate Club moderator, head English teacher here. He's got a guest with him. We don't know who he is. He's going to get to introduce him when he comes on. Mystery guest. Woo! And we also get to battle the sun for the whole time, maybe for like the next 20 minutes. That should be interesting. Then at 4:43, we have a couple soccer players. They're going to talk a little bit about playoffs and conference.
Oh yeah.
And then at 5, or just a little bit after 4:55, a couple of our guests from our sister school, Regina Dominican, will be joining us. We invited them over for the day, so they'll be here with us. 5:05, we got the ND Jugglers that are going to be joining up. Their closing shows are tomorrow, so you'll get to hear from them. And then at 5:15, the crown jewel of them all, the varsity cheer team is going to be hanging out here for a little bit.
Ooh.
That should be fun. And then it's prediction time, back with Coach Boyle. It's going to be fun. Now, let's dig into things. Both teams coming in under 500. So far, St. Laurence coming in at 3-4, Dons coming in at 2-5. St. Laurence has looked meh the last 2 weeks. Now, yes, they've played very tough teams. Mount Carmel and JC, Joliet Catholic, the last 2 weeks, gotten obliterated both weeks on defense. Offense, still meh. They've only scored 20 points in their last 2 games combined. What are you looking to see tonight out of the Vikings?
So I also said the same thing. I made sure to note that they've played some very tough competition this season so far. So I think you need to get on top of them early because this Viking team, I've heard they're very athletic, they like to play quick, and they can really run up a score if you let them. Obviously, like you said, the offense hasn't really been clicking, but you don't want to be the first team that offense clicks against.
Yeah, and you know what? It sure is. Like you said about their schedule, every team that they've lost to, you got St. Ignatius, Moline, Joliet Catholic, Mount Carmel. These teams are pretty good teams. All of them I'd probably say are top 20, top 25 team around there. So, the other wins, maybe not so high of the competition, but however, this team's very, very strong and athletic. But you also have to apply that they're still in the playoff hunt. They can get 5 wins and get put on the bubble. And to my understanding, if you lose to 4 top 25 teams, I think you still have a shot of getting in.
Yeah.
I think St. Laurence is really going to need to work on their defense tonight because for the last game, ND shut out DePaul 34-0. While when St. Laurence played DePaul, it was a close game. It was only about 27-21, I think.
Yep.
So that shows that, if ND could shut them out, but St. Laurence can, and it's a pretty close game, they're going to need to work on their defense because ND has the offense. It's there, and it can click if they can get it going.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the interesting things to watch about this game is that defense has struggled a lot the last couple of weeks. Now, those are 2 very high-powered offenses in JC and Mount Carmel. The Dons have been a little bit, they've been back and forth. Last week definitely was a nice showing to see, putting up as many points as they did on DePaul. But you also got to put it into context of who they're playing and how they've played this year. DePaul, they've been okay. They haven't been spectacular. They started the season off 2-0, and it just hasn't been the same for them since. So when you put it into relative context about how the game went for both teams, yes, they came out with wins. Yes, they both scored more than 25 points. Well, it's just you have to think about it relatively. And, the Dons are playing a better team in St. Laurence than they played last week in the DePaul Prep Rams.
Yeah, and I agree. I think just to add on to what Hank said earlier really quick, I think St. Laurence is still playing with something to prove. They're still in that playoff hunt where obviously Notre Dame, anything can happen. We can still make the playoffs, but we're not really playing with that same chip on our shoulder like St. Lawrence. So I really don't think you can let St. Lawrence come in here and dictate the pace of the game. I think Notre Dame needs to use the momentum they created last week with that big win and try to jump out to an early lead.
Yeah, 100% correct. Even though the Dons aren't eligible to make the playoffs, it's also senior night for those guys, so, they're going to be a little amped up. So Notre Dame does have something to prove, Winning on senior night's a big thing here at Notre Dame. So, it's going to be a dogfight, and I'm interested to see what the outcome's going to be.
Yeah, both teams are going to have something to prove. St. Lawrence still fighting back to get an over 500 record, and then, Dons, of course, it's senior night, so it's going to be a close one.
So let's take a look. So I have a couple guys that are on my watch list tonight for the Vikings. One of them in particular is their quarterback. His name is Brandon Mccoy. He's a senior. He's got a pretty decent arm. He's had some long touchdown passes throughout the year. But one of the things that really stood out to me while watching some of his film was his legs. The pocket collapses. He's able to recognize that, get out, and able to get those huge gains. So that's one of the things I'm really interested to see tonight. The pass rush for the Dons has gotten a lot better than how it started. It started decent, and then as the weeks have progressed, they have gotten pretty good. Particularly Carl Schmalz leading that group. How the offensive line handles this group and how McCoy handles the pressure is going to be one thing that we really got to look for tonight.
Yeah, and that's a great point. Obviously, he has great legs, and I've been told he has a crazy good arm. So he can really hurt you both ways. So I think this game comes down to the secondary. Obviously, the pass rush is going to be consistent. I think that's been one of our heavily consistent aspects all year, the pass rush. So we can count on that. We need Jack Doherty, Mike Pantazis to step up in the back, Nate Garnhart to put up some solid coverage, and I think we'll have a good game from the Dons.
Yeah, and something that is in high school football is the dual threat quarterback, which is whether you see it at high school or college or NFL level, the dual threat quarterback is one of the most lethal quarterbacks ever. However, you can also defend that by having a QB spy on him. So while the pocket may collapse and he gets out, you're always going to have that QB spy, whether that be Mike Pantazis, Jack Doherty, Randy Russ, Nate Garnhart even. Someone's
he played really well. He played really well last week too.
He did. He did awesome. So it's really about keeping eyes. Even though when he drops back for a pass, if the pass isn't there, he's going to tuck it and run. So for the Dons, they got to keep an eye on that. That could lead to big gains, or it could lead for a tackle for losses. So something to keep an eye out right there in that aspect of the game.
Yeah, just mainly defense too. We've seen some of the previous games, the Dons, they start off with a strong defense and they start to collapse in the second half. So if they can keep that defense strong throughout the whole game, they can stop the quarterback from, either passing or running, and they can, put up the points they need on the offensive side, and that's how they're going to get the win.
And that's another interesting battle that we got to watch. One of the things I really noticed, too, was just the capabilities of this rushing group, particularly Laurence Taylor, the junior. They're averaging over 130 yards per game. The big one that you look at, they had 178 yards on Joliet Catholic 2 weeks ago. They also put up 246 on DePaul and then put up 196 on Montini. So this is a rush that we really got to look for. And that front seven of the defense is going to be heavily tested tonight. One more I forgot to mention, 158 against Moline. So they have a good run group. And we also see a lot of times Matthew Ochoa, the senior, they'll do a lot of little flips, and they'll just do a sweep, get to the outside or the inside, and he's able to pick up big yards too. Ochoa, a receiver that we really got to watch tonight, but he also gets used a lot as a running back.
Yeah, I think the jet sweep has kind of haunted us all season. I remember Viator Viator wasn't very successful in their run game until they brought out those jet sweeps, and then they came back on us, tied the game up, sent it to overtime. So I think, again, it comes back to the secondary. Mike Pantazis is kind of my player that I'm watching today. Senior night, he's amped up. I think those linebackers back there are going to have to really step up, keep an eye out for everything that St. Laurence can bring.
Yeah, I mean, it for sure is the run game for them. They might not have a big line, but, instead of running up the gut, they like to run on the outside. And when you do that, you take away the front four of Notre Dame or the front three. And, it's going to be a battle between the linebacker and the running back or wide receivers if it jet sweeps. So something you got to keep aware. My key to the game is Jalil Johnson.
Yep.
He's the free safety, and he's going to be all over the place tonight, whether that be on a run game or St. Louis throwing the ball. He's going to be everywhere tonight, and he's going to be the key factor for tonight's game, my key factor.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Just got to be ready for anything.
So let's switch gears over. Don's offense put up 30-plus last week against DePaul. Definitely was good to see, especially after the heartbreaker at Bennett in Week 6 and then with the walk-off against Viator. But it was good to see the offense get on a roll and stay on a roll. That's not something we had really seen a lot of this year. Points would come sporadically. They would come on the first drive, and then they'd go silent for maybe 5 or 6 drives and then get some in garbage time. We didn't really see that last week. They were consistently driving the ball down the field and able to get into the end zone. And that's something we really got to see tonight. And 2 of those tools that have been consistently used all year, Colin Randazzo and Francesca Ricciardi.
Yeah, I think you said it perfectly. The offense hasn't really been able to string 4 strong quarters together. And even last week, I don't think they really got going until about the second quarter. So I want Notre Dame to come out very strong the first drive. I think that's the key. And then keep it that same pace throughout the game. I think Colin Randazzo is going to be a huge factor this week. And I think you don't try to get away from Colin. I think even if some runs are getting bottled up, I think you stick with him because he has been a great player all season.
Yeah, something that really stood out to me is that, St. Lawrence, they haven't scored a point in the first quarter all year.
Mm-hmm.
And when you struggle to score points early on, it's hard for a team to get back into the game because usually the other team would normally score. But same thing with Notre Dame. They've had a couple first quarters where they haven't really gotten going. So really the key factor is who's going to start the game off strong and who's going to finish the game. And for Notre Dame, I think that's what they're going to come out and do tonight.
Yep.
Yeah, and so like I said before, the defense needs to stay hot all game, and I think the same thing with the offense. If they can, start off strong and then keep that momentum going throughout, after halftime into the third, into the fourth, and they just keep up the pace, they're going to win. There's no way they're going to lose.
Yeah, and that's like Mac was saying, consistent. That's what they got to keep doing, this inconsistent play that they've had. Yes, they put up points, but they need to be able to keep driving down the field and be able to either put it through the uprights or put it through the goal line. That's how they're going to be able to beat these teams. And they should also take this as a game as in preparation for St. Rita next week. They lost a really tough one last year. They lost a really tough one 2 years ago. They're hungry to get a win against these Mustangs. They want to keep them out of the running to win the ESCC-CCL Green title for a 3rd straight year. They don't want them to do that again. So they got a little bit of a chip on their shoulder in that regard because they've played 2 close games against them the last 2 years. They want to break through. They finally want to beat this team. So take it in a sense to where they're trying to show St. Lawrence that you can't just come in here and beat us like this. We played well all year. The record clearly does not show that, but we've seen it because of the teams that they've played. They've been able to play pretty well. Points just haven't showed up, and the record just doesn't show it. That's fine. But I think they got a really good chance.
Yeah, I think you said something great. Obviously, you don't want to look past anyone, so obviously the focus is St. Lawrence, but this is also a great opportunity to send a message to not just every team, but specifically St. Rita. You want to show them how dangerous we can be in front of our home crowd, so you really want to use the juice that we bring. You want to see the team use the home crowd to their advantage and hopefully find some success today.
Yeah, especially looking in advance of what you said, with the energy that Notre Dame plays with, Notre Dame's not an easy team, and we've seen that all year. Even though things might have gotten ugly later through the game, but Notre Dame is a team that you can't just walk in and walk out easily. It's going to be a dogfight, and for the Dons, they got to keep up that energy, even though they may be out of the playoffs. I mean, they're still playing football games, and I'm sure for those seniors with their 2 games, dwindling down, they're going to come out and they're going to play.
Yeah, as long as they can stay hot on both sides of the field and then use all the energy from the crowd, I mean, yeah, they're going to win.
So with that, it's time to transition over to our first interview of the day. Michael Galeno and guest are coming up. We'll be back in 1 minute.
Kids want to watch this.
Right now, it's not live. They'll tell us when we go live. And then
I know. Yeah. Okay.
You got it. It's a little delayed right now, but
Cool.
you got
Game Day Live crew, happy to be here. Happy for some Friday Night Lights. Let's go Dons,
And Mr. Galeno has brought a guest with him. He'll expand a little bit on some of the stuff he's doing here at ND. But Cole, give us an introduction.
I'm Cole. I play on the sophomore football team. I'm an offensive lineman, and hope we win tonight.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And can I cut off real quick? And Cole, what happened today, guy?
Won the Grill Club Challenge. Everyone's been asking me if they could join me.
Hilarious, man. So, yeah, Coach K and I were sitting around last week and came up with this idea of different clubs having, like, quick 24-hour challenges. And Grill Club was first kind of on the docket. So what Grill Club pitched was, you got 24 hours, grab a ticket for myself or any of the Grill Club moderators. We got Dan Kowalski, Andrew Connier, Justin Norman. And we got rid of over 400 tickets in 24 hours.
Wow.
awesome.
It was awesome. I couldn't believe how interested everybody was. So today on the announcements live, picked a name. Cole Dagler's name gets picked. Second place, Justin Norman. Just have to mention that. Poor guy lost to a rock, paper, scissors match, but what can you do? So, yeah, Cole can invite up to 26 people. 26 special number here, we all know at Notre Dame, you know, and up to 26 people, menu of his choice, date of his choice, Grill Club caters. I mean, like, thinking anything food-wise, guest-wise?
No, not yet. I haven't decided. Still have a lot to think about.
All right. I mean, I'm just hoping it's not like burgers or dogs.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of burgers or dogs, you know. So you want ribs, you want pork shoulder, you want steaks. Like, let's do this, you know.
Yeah.
It'll be good. Cool.
Well, you definitely have a good opportunity this weekend, Bears-Packers, to bring something out. And we know here, for those of you who don't know, Mr. Galeno is one of the biggest Chicago sports fans I've ever met. Huge Bears fan.
You know
I just received word that Cole is not a Bears fan.
No, I'm a Packers fan.
So I won't even say the team name because I don't like the way it sounds in my mouth. But I'll go to both of you, and Hank, you too.
What are the score predictions we think for this weekend?
The Bears coming off a nice win in Las Vegas. Pretty impressive win. They're underdogs. They're always underdogs against the Packers. They haven't done well against the Packers, but, with the defense and the pass rush moving really well for the Chicago Bears, I think the Bears, they'll win on a game-winning field goal. I think it's going to be – I think it will be 24-21 Bears.
Wow.
Cole, we'll throw it to you.
I have the Packers winning 24-21 by a field goal. Mason Crosby for the game winning, even though he missed 4 field goals last week.
Yeah, he did.
One in overtime, but they still got the win. Have faith in him.
Very nice. Are we going to see another, Lazard 89-yard touchdown or something like that?
I don't know.
I don't think that happens against the Bears.
Not against Duke Shelley, baby.
No.
I am so sick of, these, random – I guess Packers receivers just slaying the Bears defense. All right, so I'm sticking with the Bears, obviously. I see it more like Rodgers gets shut down. All right, I'm saying 1 touchdown. It's Aaron Jones. They're going to obviously miss the extra point. That's for sure. Maybe they'll get a field goal in there. So I'm going to give the Packers 9. I think this is a Justin Fields show. I'm going 2 in the air from Justin Fields.
2.
Maybe a couple of field goals. I'm going 20-9 Bears.
Wow.
Yep.
So I'm not too sure about a score prediction. The Bears are too inconsistent for my liking. But I do think
we're not holding you to this. What the heck's going on?
I do think it will be a Khalil Herbert breakout game.
Okay.
2 touchdowns north of 100 yards rushing. I think he's a 3rd-string running back for the Bears, but I think he's a 1st-string running back for any other team in the NFL.
Cool.
Let me add in Matt gets two sacks, by the way, too. And Akeem Hicks gets a couple tackles for losses, all right?
Well, and you just brought up 2 huge names. I mean, the defense showed up last week, right?
They did.
I think they, pressured Carr, maybe 7 times. They had 4 sacks. Mack and Hicks, both questionable. Need them out there. You know what I mean? If the Bears are going to put the pressure on Aaron Rodgers like they did Carr. I think last week I heard Carr had the 2nd most reception, passing yards in the league. Bears shut him down. So let's see what can happen,
Not only that, Mr. Galeno, but I heard you're also a big fantasy guy too. So do you got any insides for fantasy football this week?
How convenient. We planned this.
Yeah.
All right. Love it. So, yeah, Cole, Cole and I were talking, and, we can stand up here and be like, oh, play Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah.
Okay, that's nonsense, We all know that stuff. So I would say these are, mid-range to, maybe some sleepers, right, that we feel like.
Waiver wire ads.
Start bench.
Exactly.
Yep, start bench.
You got it. So you want to take it first, Cole?
Yeah.
Go.
My first sleeper is Darrell Williams for the Kansas City Chiefs. With Clyde Edwards-Helaire out, I think he's going to have a big game.
Yep.
Second sleeper is Khalil Herbert. David Montgomery out and Damian Williams with COVID-19. I think he's going to have a good game. And then finally, Alex Collins, Seattle Seahawks running back.
Really?
I feel like he's going to have a good game because Chris Carson's out.
Dude, even with Chris Carson in the game sometimes, Alex Collins is there with carries with him.
Yeah. Last week
he got that wheel route too.
Yep.
He's going to be there on the wheel route too. So
yeah, last week he had 71% of the snaps without Carson.
Love it. Going 3 running backs, and hopefully they're going to be ball hungry. So that's cool. All right, I've got I picked 3 too. Sticking with the running backs to start. This is the London game. I'm going with Jacksonville Jag, James Robinson. I'm assuming he's an RB2 for most people. Guy's got 3 TDs in the last couple of weeks. The Dolphins have allowed running back touchdowns in the last couple of weeks. And they're playing in London. I think, people's nerves are kind of high. So, those running backs are going to get the ball. I'm all on Robinson. 2, probably my favorite player this year, Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase, again, probably a wide receiver 2 in people's eyes. Guy's got 5 TDs, and I think all year. And the Lions' secondary is a joke. Chase and Burrow will slay them. Finally, this is one of my favorite players again. I think I got him in the 7th or 8th round. He's been carrying one of my teams. Mike Williams for the San Diego Chargers.
You know what? In one of my leagues, I was a little running back hungry.
Okay.
And I traded away Mike Williams for
no.
Chris Carson.
Oh, geez.
And what happens? Chris Carson gets hurt.
Hate when that happens.
Of course.
Yeah, no.
Of course.
I want to be all about those deep routes that Herbert's going to hit Williams all day, and that's like the Ravens secondary. I mean, if you watched Monday Night Football, Carson Wentz made them look silly.
Yeah.
And we're talking Carson Wentz. Like, I mean, sad. But and it's funny, too. I'll say this for, like, the alums or anyone else or who dabbles into the gambling apps. You know, I ran Cole and I's our parlays, and Cole's was at a plus 741. I was at a plus 704. Parlay those babies for anytime touchdowns. Some parlay fun there.
Yeah,
I probably shouldn't have said that. My bad.
I traded for Calvin Ridley 2 weeks ago, and he got hurt.
Yep.
Or, it was family issues, I think.
Yeah. Not choosing not to play. That's never
Yeah.
good. Yep. How about you guys? Mac, Hank, what are you guys thinking?
You know, I have a couple pretty good leagues. I would say I'm really good in one.
Okay.
One of them I'm kind of falling apart, and then the other one I'm 4-1. But I've been bailed out all the time because my opponent usually scores under 100 points. But
jeez.
you know, something that I've always been a fan of is T. Higgins. I just got a feeling with him, and especially in that Bengals offense. You know, I'm not really a big fan of Joe Mixon with them running the ball, and especially Joe Burrow, as much of a great passer he is, and when he gets out of the pocket, he creates a lot of routes for wide receivers to get open. I would say T. Higgins is a sleeper this week too.
Love it.
All right, I would tell you about my fantasy, but Mike Evans just put up 4.7 points when he was projecting 16, so I don't want to talk about it. That's all the time we have for you two. Thank you so much
Thanks
for
for
joining us.
Congrats again,
thanks
Cole.
for having us.
We'll be right back in about a minute.
And welcome back. We're back, and we found a couple friends along with us. Got a couple varsity soccer players here with us. To my left is Luca Lobianco, and to Caden's right is Daniel Dino, both juniors, both not captains.
All right.
Wow.
You didn't
Well,
have to
Dino
make
got it for one day.
didn't
one
have to make
day.
it personal.
Yeah, it's okay. So, let's start things off.
All
Do you
right.
like us calling things with 3 points? European football? Did we like that?
It's great. You know.
I find it pretty funny, but it's also kind of it's like out of place. Like we're just trying to like focus on the game.
But you can't hear. Well, maybe you could hear us. We get pretty loud.
No.
when
Well, I
one's in
mean,
there.
after I go back to watch the game and I just hear you guys yelling 3 points.
But what does it matter? We're trying to be entertaining.
It's
True.
fun. It's all in good
He's
nature.
getting on me, and I don't appreciate it. Well, we actually have some interesting things to discuss. These two are conference champions, going 9-0 in conference this year. When was I don't even remember the last time we won conference for soccer.
Never.
Never?
Yeah, this is the first time in history that we've done it. It's really great that
you heard it first.
we've ever done it, and we're really happy to be a part of it. So, I mean, it's awesome.
So talk a little bit about like the grit to get to that 9-0 record. Like you played some pretty tough teams this year in conference.
I mean, it probably started over the summer, like the summer workouts with everything through the conditioning and just getting on the ball and stuff. And then once the regular season started, I think it was keeping like a winning mentality, but like not being overly confident so that we don't underestimate anyone, but we don't overestimate ourselves, and we like take each team as it comes.
Right, yeah, we faced some difficult teams, and I think what helped with that was our fitness coach really helped us in the summer. We had like off-season workouts every week, twice a week for 2 hours, and that got us in really good shape, and I think we had that advantage over other teams, and that really helped us against like especially stronger teams such as like Marist or Bennett, and so yeah.
So talk about that win over Bennett. Like, how did it feel to, like, you knew you were champions at that point. You had beaten, you were the David and you beat the Goliath in that metaphor. How was the experience like for you? What did it feel like? How was it like in that game? Because I wasn't there. Caden, were you there for that game?
No, I did not.
We were not there for that game. You guys obviously played in it. What was it like for you guys to be able to play in that and experience that type of game?
So, like before we even left the school, before we even went there was just like a whole level, like a new level of focus that like you could feel. Like everyone was just ready for this game. And once the game started and it got going, everyone like got more comfortable after like the first 10 minutes. We settled into the game and like the pressure and the atmosphere of it. And like once that first goal went in, like everyone was down a little, but we came together and we just kept pressuring. And then once that first one came in, like we realized that we can win this, like we can do it. I know starting second half, and for me, like when we got that second goal early with like 35 minutes left in the half, like I was kind of nervous because we still had 35 minutes left of soccer and we were so close to achieving like the conference championship, which we had never done before.
So, I just have a question for you guys. You guys talked about not being too overly confident and stuff like that. Do you guys ever think at any point in the season you guys did get too overconfident or too cocky or selfish and, thought, oh, we're easily going to win this game? And kind of, use that as like, your guys' motivation to win?
I don't think we were ever too overconfident. There was one game, it was actually our senior night against Marion Central, where we went down a goal in like the first 10 minutes, and then we started going even harder after that. I don't think it was a issue of overconfidence. We were just a little bit sloppy.
Yeah.
So it was good that we overcame that.
Did you ever feel like at any point that an opponent was too much for you? Like you just couldn't handle them?
At times.
I would say one team that was really difficult for us was GBS. They were a very strong team. They outpossessed us a lot. But our defense was really solid, and we were able to hold them to a 1-1 score. But that team was probably the most impressive that we played against. But I think we were able to hold them off well with our defense.
Yeah, I just think there's certain like spurts in games, like certain 10, 15-minute spurts where like stuff doesn't go the way as we planned and we're not playing our best. But I think for the most part we handled pretty well.
Yeah, you definitely played pretty well in that game. All things considered, you had a couple guys out for that game. You were not full strength. They looked like they were at full strength. But now that's all over. Playoffs get started next week. Have you guys figured out who your opponent is yet? Did they play yet? I don't remember.
They're playing
tonight.
Yeah,
okay,
right now.
So in that case, then you're going into a game. At least right now, you don't know who you're playing yet. As of this point, not knowing what's going to happen, what's your mindset going into that game? Granted, you don't know who you're going to play.
I think our mindset going into this game is like obviously to win, but like no matter who it is, we can't overlook them because it's a whole like new season coming into the playoffs. Like records and standings don't matter going into it, and then everyone plays with like this mentality because it could be the last 80 minutes of soccer you play for a season.
Yeah, we just know whoever we're going against, we're going to go as hard as we can. We're going to give our best effort to win. And it doesn't matter who we play against.
I got nothing. That's a great answer.
I'm gonna keep going then. So, with the success of the season you had, there's a very high chance that you guys are gonna be bumped to 3A next year for your classification. With the talent that you have, your sophomores played really well this year. You guys both played really well this year, along with the other juniors. Got up and coming guys on JV that will be joining you next year. How are you guys going to handle all these new opponents that you're going to be playing next year on this 3A classification that you're going to be playing in the playoffs?
Well, we're losing a lot of seniors next year, so we're going to have to first find like replacements. We're losing guys in the midfield, forward, and defense. So, and there's a lot of promising freshmen and sophomore guys that could move up to us. So we're looking for their support in this new, if we get moved up to 3A. And playing against those teams, we're always going to do what we do is just play hard and come in strong and try and get the win.
So that begs me to the next thing, and you kind of led into that. You're having so much turnover. you're losing, what is it? It's like 10, 11 guys from your senior class. How do you try and fill that back up? Because that's a lot of talent you're losing. You had some really talented guys on that senior staff that now are no longer going to be on your roster next year. How do you make up for that?
I think it starts with us as people who are on varsity and becoming more of the leaders during the off season. And I think it's also the whole soccer program as a whole and the amount of work and effort they put into the off season to improve.
All right, Caden, your turn to ask something.
All right, I kind of asked this last time. I was waiting to ask this. I wanted to wait towards the end. I asked this last time. What's your guys' hype song for the playoffs? What's like the song that's going to make you win every single game?
Danny, I think you got this one.
It's Pump It Up, of course.
Yes,
We've had that
yes.
since the beginning of the season. I think it's a little overplayed, but we won't get sick of it.
No, you can't get sick of that
No,
song.
no,
It's
never.
awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's one of the best.
Gets me hype.
So is that the song we're going to be playing after victories this postseason?
I suppose.
You think
maybe
so?
not after victors. Definitely before game.
Okay.
But maybe after victors, we'll play that like champion song. So.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
We like that one.
So now I'm interested to hear something. You guys just played your last home game of the season last week.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, no, this week. I'm getting my weeks mixed up. You don't have any more home games the rest of the season. You're going into the sectional as the 1 seed, but you don't play any home games. Does your mindset change at all, knowing that you're not coming back home the rest of the season? You're not going to be in front of your fans. You're not going to be on familiar turf. You're not going to have me up in the press box to announce you guys anymore. Like, how did things change for you in that respect?
I think the focus will just have to be at a higher level and just have to last longer. But I don't think it's going to change much because we've only lost one away game this season out of the many that we've had, and I think it just is a reflection on the team as a whole and like the focus that we all have and the commitment.
Yeah, I believe our team can perform on any field. It will definitely help if we have our fans, so let's hopefully our fans can show up to those away games. But I don't think the field will make that much of a difference because we're just a strong team.
All right, last words, guys, before we got to let you go. You got anything else to say?
Everybody come to our away game this Tuesday. We would like to see a lot of fans over there coming into the stands.
Yeah.
Are you done, Luca?
Yeah.
You feel you look very uncomfortable. All right. Well, in that respect, we're going to transition to our next guest. We lost Mac Ross. I don't know where he. Oh, hey, there he is. He's standing over there. So we'll be back in 1 minute. We'll be right back.
And I think we all had a really fun time. And, yeah, it's been really exciting at Regina.
Well, Catherine got to dress up as the mascot for the game, too. That was fun to watch her.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I came to that game. I was on the Regina side. I was wearing pink, but couldn't get it done.
Everyone was in pink that night. I saw all the pictures.
Rez was in white.
Oh, yeah.
For breast cancer awareness, they wear white. I mean, I love Resurrection.
Well,
I'm not trying
why
to
would you wear white when it should be pink?
I don't know.
Yeah.
So now, all right, let's take shots at them then.
No.
You gotta wear pink.
I agree.
That's the thing. So you guys went, right?
Oh, yeah. I was
So
I was Gina.
I know. So talk a little bit about the atmosphere of that. That was a rivalry game that, we haven't seen in so long. You guys, we had no fans last year, basketball or volleyball. That the teams played each other. You can tell that the rivalry was there when they were playing, but there was no atmosphere there behind it. So we really haven't seen anything like that since the two squared off for basketball back in 2020. So what was that like to finally experience that rivalry again?
Well, I actually wasn't at Regina when the basketball game happened because I'm a sophomore. And it was really kind of like a good experience because I played volleyball last year and we played like Resurrection, but it wasn't like a big deal. It was just playing another school. But like the game on Wednesday, it was a huge deal because everyone was there and everyone had these crazy outfits that were like hot pink and like we made all these fun signs. And I feel like it was just a great atmosphere in general, and it was like great to be back, I guess.
So yeah, you guys obviously weren't there to experience that. So I guess I'll turn over to Mac a little bit. You didn't play for much of the season last year for basketball, but then you played in empty gyms when you got into the game.
Mm-hmm.
So a little weird, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, so happy because it at least looks like we're going to have fans back this year. I know the volleyball game was insane. Like, I don't know what my expectations were for two kind of smaller all-girls schools playing volleyball, but it was just as wild as it gets for football games. So I'm really hoping we can kind of radiate that energy tonight. But I also have a question for them. I know for our football games, that's probably the thing we take most seriously, and we go like all out. Like we're thinking a chance for the other team's players. What's it like for you guys, like coming to a football game that obviously isn't your school?
Well, I'm really excited because like I've never been to a Notre Dame football game before. This is like my first high school football game, and I don't know. I just want to see what it's like. Yeah. So I'm gonna cheer for Notre Dame, obviously, and I will bring the spirit.
Yeah, I've also never been to a football game, so I'm glad that Notre Dame football game is my first one for high school. Going green, cheering big.
So I'm interested. You obviously weren't around 2 years ago for when things were actually typical. Which do you think is a bigger deal at your school? Do you think it's volleyball or basketball?
Definitely volleyball.
Definitely.
Yeah. There's more people play volleyball, and I feel like volleyball is just everybody like knows how it works, and it's really entertaining. And yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the interesting things about having those all girls schools is that you have a similar vibe when it comes to that. We have our football games, you guys have your volleyball games, and then when you throw them all together, it makes it all relative because you have similar energy around it. Yes, it's for different sports, but you still have that sense of connectedness, and I think it's something that we've all been missing for the last 18 months is that really hasn't been present. Even with the circumstances that we're still in now, it's great that we're back in a similar environment to where we were before.
Yeah.
It was really weird for me to see at that game, like how similar it is here, like between us and Pats, and then between them and Rez. Like obviously, I get it's a rivalry, but it's completely different sports, all boys versus all girls. But it's so similar in terms of you don't hate the other people. You just don't like them at all. And you will do anything you can to try to one-up them. But that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Did you guys have any good chance at least?
You guys kept doing this like REG one that I did not know.
Oh, it was, oh gosh. I couldn't hear anything because I was in like this mask.
Yeah.
But it was, oh gosh. I don't remember them. Sorry. I'm like.
Danny, it sounded like those, I don't know what they're called, but like the sorority chants.
Oh.
It was like a, you'd say R, R-E, and then you start clapping, and then at one point you go like this, and I was so lost, and I really tried to like match their energy, but I just couldn't.
Like the Delta G from Family Guy.
Dude, I couldn't hang.
Oh, man. And you're like one of the leaders when it comes to the bullpen, and you couldn't even figure out what they were saying.
I was so lost.
Oh man, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
So we've got a couple minutes left before we wrap things up. I think it's time for us to switch gears now. You guys be the interviewers, and we answer stuff. I like this game.
Oh, okay.
Well, what's it like to be at a Notre Dame football game, cheering?
I think Mac would answer this one better.
Well, it's very different for what I'll be doing and then what you guys will be doing. For me, I think it's awesome. I think anyone else would absolutely hate it because you're squished in with a bunch of sweaty guys who are all just yelling in your ear. But, I mean, I would not be anywhere else on a Friday night supporting this school.
Agreed.
It's a lot of fun just seeing how even, like, kids that it's not that I'm not friends with them, but we maybe don't have a lot of similar interests. But come Friday night, we're both sitting in that student section ready to go.
Yeah, I only am occasionally. I do it when we go to away games because home games, I'm up in the booth. But when I'm up there, I can definitely sense the energy. You know, when these guys are jumping on top of the bleachers and we feel like the press box is about to fall from under its stilts, you know that there's something up and that these guys are really into it. And I think that's one of the really unique things that we have here is that we always get good attendance when it comes to pretty much anything that, you know, people are going to show up to. Like, even soccer games, too. You know, when you think of soccer, you don't think of, you know, a ton of attendance. This year they came out, and they came out really good compared to how it's been because they've been good. So we go to that stuff. It's all relative. Oh, you didn't think this through, did you?
I didn't. I'm sorry. I was trying to listen. Oh, gosh.
And we blanked.
Sorry. I'm trying to think. Oh. Like, do you have any fun chants? I don't know.
We love our mothers.
Yeah, the student section has since been censored a little bit from the beginning of the year, so I don't know if I'm allowed to say my favorites, but that's a conversation for another time. I'll be respectful.
Yeah. All right, as we wrap things up, one last chance. You guys have anything you want to say to our audience before we let you all
Any shout-outs you want to make?
Yeah.
I don't know. Go Panthers and go Don.
All right, so that's going to do it. We're going to transition over to our next segment. We got the jugglers coming up. We're going to be back in 1 minute.
Thanks, guys. Nice meeting you.
All right, and we're back after Mac Ross and Danny Berg talked to our fellow sisterhood Regina students. I'm here with a couple jugglers and also part of the media crew. How are you guys doing?
Good. How are you guys?
So, if you haven't heard, Notre Dame is going with a play right now called October Sky, you know, with a couple main characters featured in it. So tell us a little about October Sky.
So October Sky, it's a pretty cool show. It's about a coal mining town in West Virginia. These two kids think they have to get a football scholarship to leave the town, and they don't end up doing that. They end up finding a love for rocketry and trying to launch rockets into the air and get scholarships based off that.
Well, don't give the whole show away, Jack.
Well, I'm not.
just a summary, guys. Come on now. So, after with your producer, Mr. Hopper, doing everything, setting it up, he's done an awesome job. What was your favorite part of the show that you liked, whether it be, the dialogue you liked or something that you had to act out? What was your favorite part?
Oh, for me, it was probably one specific scene, our first rocket launch. One of my fellow actors and we kind of blow up, where we literally jump like a solid 3 feet in the air, have to flatten out in the air, and then smack the stage to make it look like we actually died. It hurts, but it's fun.
By the way, they did not die, all right? That's not the end of the October sky right there.
Or is it? Only the beginning.
It's only
the beginning.
Yeah.
What was yours?
I don't know. It was pretty funny watching that, but the favorite scene I was in was probably the rocket launch. We have a lot of scenes where we have to do this. We have to sprint backstage to get to the other side of the stage, and we're shoving people back there sometimes. But I think there's one in the mine where a rocket goes towards the mine, and we have to go stop it. We're sprinting backstage, and there's people back there, and they don't know to move. So that's sometimes a little entertaining.
Yeah, something I watched yesterday. It was a great show, by the way, guys. It was awesome.
Thanks.
And
thank you.
Something that I want to ask is, you got what's the difference between having it outside instead of our little theater room that we have at Notre Dame?
It is so different. It could not be more different. We can't have Sunday shows anymore because the Sunday show would normally be at 2 or sometime like that where it'd be light out, and we can't really fight with God and nature, so we can't use our lighting instruments, which are most of the show, since we aren't inside and we can't use as much props. We have to fight with the weather. That's one thing. Snow. During Toy Story, it snowed on opening night. That's really it. I mean, it's nice, though. It's a really fun experience out there.
It's different for sure, though. We do like having the extra room for seats, but like you said, the weather is difficult. I actually did the lighting design for the show, and that was a challenge because we had to stay here pretty late to wait for the sun to go down to get everything working. Mm-hmm. But it has its pros and cons. Like I said, the extra seating's great.
So, yeah, even with the difficulties, what do you guys think the funniest part of the show was? Like, whether it was during the show or, setting it up, in practice, whatever. When was the funniest moment?
I think for me, one of the last scenes, the last rocket launch, everyone's on stage for it, and we're all kind of cheering and wooing and everything. And Kevin said, "Sheesh."
Oh, Kevin. Yeah, sometimes we like to throw some improv in or some sort of random jokes. Kevin, I think, has been doing sheesh since Toy Story, right? Or was that American Graffiti?
No, it's been since Toy Story.
Yeah, he's thrown that in there every once in a while, and it's kind of a running joke. So that's always fun to see. You never know when it's coming. He doesn't tell us. We have to try our best to not laugh.
It's hard sometimes not to laugh, though.
Yeah.
And so one other question that I have, how long did it take you from the start to, whenever it ends? So, from the first day you started practicing to the last show, how long approximately is that?
About 5 months.
5 weeks.
5 months.
Weeks. It's like the fourth time this has happened. I did it on stage when I got asked that question, and now on live air. Cool.
That's another challenge we had to deal with being outside. We have short time from when we start school, obviously, to when the weather starts to get real cold. We wanted to do the show as early as possible so it could stay somewhat warm. I mean, we're even getting a little chilly out there. But we're doing the best we can. It's definitely been a lot of long days, but I think it's been worth it.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, something that's been on my mind, jugglers, it's such an interesting thing, and it's awesome to be a part of. What is something that you would say for incoming Notre Dame students and why they should join the juggler program?
Well, I mean, with the jugglers, it's really inclusive. So if you're kind of worried about, maybe I don't know too many kids doing it, or, I don't really like being in the spotlight, we make everybody feel welcomed and needed. So whether you haven't had much theater experience before, or you have been the lead in all the school plays in grade school, you'll get a fair role. Or if you don't like doing shows necessarily, or like being backstage, if you'd rather work lights or sound, or like designing lights, that's all opportunities with us as well.
Yeah, to add on to what he said, I'm a sophomore here, so last year was my first show, Toy Story. I walked in, I didn't know anyone, but first day of auditions, everyone was sitting in the theater. I walk in, almost everyone came up, shook my hand, said hi, I'm their name, and then nice to meet you. Started talking to me. It felt great to have some people to talk to. It wasn't awkward at all. It's really inclusive.
Yeah. So, my final question for the day. Do you guys know your next show yet? And if not, what ideas do you have, or what do you guys want to do the most for your next show?
Might be a giveaway right here.
We do not find out about the show until everyone else does. Mr. Hopper doesn't find out about the show until like a day before he announces what the show is well, though. So that I could not tell you, but it's coming up soon. I think auditions should be before we get out for winter break. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then we get the cast list, I think.
If we do it inside, I hope.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Please.
So, do you guys have any, top suggestions that you want to do? Do you guys get any vote on or, voice on that, or is that all Mr. Hopper?
That's all Mr. Hopper.
Yeah.
Mr. Hopper and administration. So Mr. Hopper has to, might come up with a couple of ideas and pick the show, and then it has to go through administration, Mr. Tully and everyone to make sure it's okay and school appropriate.
So is it 3 shows a year or is it 2 shows a year?
It's only 2.
Only 2?
Fall and spring.
Were there 3 last year?
No.
I feel like there were for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh, I felt like there were 3 too. So don't worry, you're not the only one.
Yeah, a lot of work into that.
Yeah.
So, what time or what date do you think the second show would be around? Give us a month.
Last show was May? April, May?
Yeah. Towards the end of the second semester. Just so everyone's not still freezing. It's maybe...
Assuming it's outside still.
Mid-60s, yeah.
All right, guys. Now to the game. Score predictions. What are we thinking with St. Lawrence versus Notre Dame? From the Jugglers. Top analysis right here. What are we thinking, guys? Remember, a touchdown is 7 points. A field goal is 3 points. All right?
They can't
remember
even choose
that.
in between
Remember
each
that.
other.
Touchdown 6, extra point 1. You go for 2. That's 2 points. So
Thank you.
All,
Thank you
all
for the
the math.
explanation.
All the math going on in your head.
Yeah.
What's the score prediction right here, guys?
I have no idea.
Just say a score.
Winner, loser. Who's winning?
I hope we win. I think we might win.
I think we are going to win because we're ND and we are ND strong.
Yeah.
ND strong. You heard it right there, guys. I think I already gave mine, but I think it would be Notre Dame 17-14.
All right, I haven't given mine yet. I'll go with Notre Dame 27-14. 27-14.
All right.
I agree with Caden.
Or 28.
You
I think
agree
that
with
sounds
him?
about right.
I'll agree with Layton.
28-14. My bad. 27 is a pretty hard score to get in football.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys know a little about football since October Sky was a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Yes,
That was another funny moment. Him getting
I hope you're
tackled.
listening.
Like one scene where it's
of
football.
All right, guys. Now, before we get off, player to the game. Do you guys know who you want for player of the game?
I don't know.
No.
There are a lot
Could
of
be anyone.
very good candidates.
A lot of very good candidates.
Lot
I
of
like
them.
it. I like it.
I couldn't tell you. That's more Caden's area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want me to answer, I guess Colin Randazzo, of course, he needs to have a good game. He's, really been what's holding up the team so far this year. So if he can have a good game, and of course, like I said before multiple times, the defense and the offense need to stay strong throughout the whole game, but primarily him, I think we'll win.
All right, guys.
Cool.
Thank you for having us on. If you haven't seen October Sky, go out, go find it.
Got
Saturday,
2 more shows tomorrow,
Saturday.
5:30 and 8 o'clock.
Yep, Saturday at 5, guys. That's where you want to be. Spend your Saturday watching October Skies. But thank you guys for coming on.
Yeah, our pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
Mac just made an awesome shot. Well, we got a couple guesses with us, as in a lot. This is the first one. Now what we're going to do is pass it down the line. You get to meet all of them. I don't know how many minutes. Well, let's meet them all.
Resurrection. I'm Kate and I go to Regina. I'm Tiffany and I go to Regina. I'm Ava and I go to Res. I'm Audrey and I go to Resurrection. I'm Brooke and I go to Resurrection. I'm Abby and I go to Resurrection. I'm Maureen and I also go to Resurrection.
I'm Melissa and I go to Resurrection.
I'm Sarah and I go to Regina. I'm Megan and I go to Resurrection. I'm Anna and I go to Resurrection. Hi, I'm Ava and I go to Resurrection. I'm Daniela and I go to Resurrection. I'm Izzy, I go to Regina. I'm Erica, I go to Resurrection.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shotman. So now what they're going to do, they're going to teach you all how to do one of their famous cheers. You guys want to take it away? Awesome. All right, I just did a little floor work there. So we got a couple more guys that are coming on. We're going to have a little fun. Come on back, Mac. So now we're going to have a little competition. It's going to be Mac and I versus the rest of you.
Okay, we've got 6 questions for everybody. That's over there. 6 questions for everybody. First one to answer is the one who gets the point, all right? So at the end of the round, whoever has the most points wins. Cool? Cool.
Start. All right. All right.
Good frame.
We got to move up. Okay. Hopefully everyone heard that. The first question, here, tell them to move over so that you could hear us. All right. All right, the first question. What breaks yet never falls, and what falls yet never breaks? No, not a car. Not a car. No. No. Should I give a hint? Should I give a hint?
Sure.
It's not an object.
Kind of.
Kind of. You're on the right track. Kind of. You're getting there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Day and night. Yeah.
All right. How does it break? Okay. Next one. How many bananas can you eat if your stomach is empty?
7. 27. 24.
No.
68. 9.
No. Close.
3.
No.
4.
No.
1.
No. Did you say 1? Yeah. Okay, what's the next part? 'Cause it's a 2-part question.
You only asked one question. What's the second part?
Okay, it's fine. 1 point to the Dons. It's just 1. After you eat 1, your stomach's not empty anymore.
There it is. All right. All right, the third question is, I am taken from a mine and shut up in a wooden case from which I am never released, yet I am used by almost everybody. What am I? No. All right. I am taken from a mine and shut up in a wooden case from which I am never released, yet I am used by almost everybody. No. From a mine, like a coal mine. Yeah. What he said?
It's an element of some sort.
And it's in a wooden case. No. No. Not diamonds.
Oh, I think it's
No, not your clothes. And it's used by everybody. It's never released, but it's used by everybody. Yeah, a pencil. Pencil lead. Pencil lead. Lead. A pencil, same difference.
Fine, okay. What do we just do? Oh, okay. All right. Fourth question. 30 white horses on a red hill. First they champ, then they stamp, then they stand still. What is it? 30 white horses on a red hill. First they chomp, then they stamp, then they stand still. Yes.
Did you give him the answer? How do they know that?
All right. This one is easier than you think. What has 4 legs like a dog, 2 eyes like a dog, looks just like a dog, but is not a dog? No.
A human.
No. No.
A dog. A wolf.
Not really.
A wolf. A coyote.
It's not a dog, but it is a dog. Oh no.
A horse.
No. No. No.
Wait, repeat.
Well, I'll read it again. No. What has 4?
Ruin your voice.
Okay. What has 4 legs like a dog, 2 eyes like a dog, and looks just like a dog, but is not a dog? No.
4 legs? And you said person?
Give us a hint.
I don't even know.
Oh, I had a good hint, but I don't know how to word it.
I mean, it's not an animal. What? No,
No,
it's not living.
Do I need to close the computer?
No, I mean that's. All right, here I'll read it one more time. What has 4 legs like a dog, 2 eyes like a dog, looks just like a dog, but is not a dog, and it's not a dog, and it's not living?
An online dog.
All right.
No, virtual dog.
Oh, yeah, a picture.
Yes.
A picture of the dog.
No way I don't get that. There's no way I don't get that point.
All right, last riddle. Sure, we'll call it a riddle. And it's my personal favorite. What is the difference between a jailer and a jeweler? Kind of. A jailer is somebody who works in the prison. So works, not necessarily in the prison, but works. No. Hold the mic. Technically. What was the answer? Close. Close. Close.
That's really close.
Okay, 5 seconds. We have 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Okay. Time's up. A jailer watches cells and a jeweler sells watches. Okay, so Danny, Mac, I'm sorry, the cheerleaders won. But good effort. Good effort.
Well, in that case, we got one thing left with them. We're going to do a little stunting. Take it away.
Leighton, switch to the camera microphone. Yeah, when you're ready, go. Here.
Please.
that was an embarrassment. As we take a look over at the freshman game, they're just doing dandy. What happened, Hank? Yes! We like scores. Is our thing broken? How about now? Can we hear now? Can you guys hear now?
Test.
Hank, talk. No, Hank's not working. Hank decided not to work today. Oh, lovely.
Gotta have Hank.
Oh, man, Hank, what'd you do to us? Let's try it now.
No, I still can't.
How about now? Talk now.
Can you hear me? Oh, I can hear myself. Yeah, I can hear myself. Hank is back.
What just happened, Hank?
Notre Dame freshman team touchdown. The kick is no good.
Rats.
Down by 8. Still one score.
Still one score.
Still early.
Still early. So that was embarrassing.
I have no idea what it was. I think you were asking them questions. I have no idea what was going on over there.
They were asking us questions.
Oh, so it was the other way around.
No. Those two were asking us
It was
and
us
them
against,
questions.
It was us against the cheerleaders, and we
lost. Didn't go well. Didn't go well. But anyway, we had to bring our man of the hour back for a little thing we like to call the prediction segment. So, as we get ready for things to kick off in about 2 hours, senior night gets underway in about an hour, hour and a half, somewhere in that range. I think it's time for our game picks. We've had a great game day so far. We got to wrap things up. Let's talk about the game. What are we thinking?
Should I kick everything off? I'll kick it off. Let's break it down a little, Hank. All right, what are we feeling tonight? We got St. Lawrence. We got senior night. We got, beautiful Friday night back in Legends Field. Yep. We got beautiful sunset out there. What else could you want in a high school experience, Hank?
Like we said earlier, St. Lawrence 3-4 versus our 2-5 Notre Dame Dons at home. Notre Dame senior night, big night for Notre Dame. However, St. Lawrence, big night because they are fighting for their playoff lives right now. I think the Dons, it's a special day, senior night. My key players, defensively is Joel Johnson. He's going to be flying all over the place. Offensive players, I'm going with Joseph Murphy on the offensive line.
Like it.
Going to be, battling up front, going to create some holes for Connor Randazzo. I think Notre Dame wins 24-21.
Ooh, I like it, Hank. I like the offensive line shout out. Yeah, gotta give it up for the O-line.
Got to respect the big boys up front.
Joe Murphy, locked and loaded. He's ready to go.
I like a 24-7 Notre Dame victory.
All right.
I think the offense is going to be rolling tonight. Defense, same thing. My pick I said defense is Mike Pantazis. I don't think I could ever pick anybody else.
Man, Mike Pantazis, what a welcome addition back to the squad last week.
And
fearsome performance by Mike Pantazis.
I think offensively I have to go with an Adam Gallagher touchdown to kick everything off, and I don't think anything else can happen. Like, there's not a chance of anything else happening.
I need that Adam Gallagher touchdown. I haven't seen one yet.
Adam Gallagher is number 12, pick to click.
He's so overdue, and I think he's itching to get one. I think the whole offense is waiting for him to get into the end zone, and I think we'll see it pretty early tonight.
I'm with you. Mac, what's the over-under on the squib kicks?
Well, actually, I have the statistics down.
I'm only here for the breakdown of the squib kicks. What do we got?
We're going to be at 55 degrees with 65% humidity and 7-mile-per-hour winds.
Weather report too?
What does that mean?
Mac is the weather specialist.
What does it mean for the kicking game? I think it's squibs every time. It's smart.
Squib Nation.
Yeah.
All right.
Squib Nation.
Squib games.
All right.
Squib games.
So I think we're going to have a back-and-forth game. The whole game going. The Dons end up on top by final score 35-28. I'm thinking
shootout. Danny Berg, shootout. So we're going shootout on senior night.
Nate Garnhart's going to go off tonight. Randy Russ, once he gets in, after all the seniors take their snaps, once Randy Russ gets in, he's going to cause a ton of havoc in the defensive secondary. On the offensive side of the ball, I'm calling an Enzo Riccardi QB roll for a touchdown, and I'm also calling A.J. Shinnick takes one to the house tonight.
A.J. Shinnick, Mac Ross, first-team All-American, special teamer.
Yeah. He is, if I had to pick a key player for every game, it would be A.J. Shinnick.
I agree.
I got to mix it up, give the people what they want. So
yeah, AJ's been strong. So Danny Berg, you got the shootout tonight. There's going to be fireworks
AJ
going
Stanula.
on.
I don't know why I said Shinnick. AJ Stanula.
Well, we're with Ahmed Shinnick, too. I'm with Ahmed Shinnick.
Is going to be perfect tonight. Kicking.
Yeah.
I like a AJ Shinnick blocked field goal back to his hands, then he runs it in.
And he throws it to Stanula.
But yes, AJ Stanula is going to take one through.
I love it. I love it.
All right, Coach. I think it's your turn.
Well, guys, it's great to be here. Thanks for running a wonderful game day again today. Nobody does it like the Danny, Mac, and Hank show, you know.
And Caden. We can't forget Caden.
Caden's over there. I know Caden's got a lot of guys behind the scenes. Thank you, guys. Great job. So, as we're saying here, guys, we got senior night. We got 30 seniors. 30 seniors itching to get out there to help the Dons get a win tonight. As a coach, I always thought the most important thing is you can't lose on your senior night. And if you do, it's going to be a heck of a game. But I feel good. I think the boys have had a great week of practice. I'm sensing a little defensive battle tonight. I'm going to go opposite a little Danny Berg shootout. Well, I'm going to go Notre Dame 14, St. Lawrence 12. We're going 14-12. Defense. On defense. Let's go step up on senior night. Look for a senior to make a huge play tonight. Which one will it be? We don't know. We don't know. Maybe Tommy Shipman get a fumble recovery. You know, you never know. There's going to be magic out there in Legends Field tonight. So we're going 14 Notre Dame, 12 St. Lawrence. Oh, we got a little something. Let's go. Let's go, Dons. We're going 14-12. Here we go, Dons. Let's get it done. There we go. Let's go. We got Leighton Meadows in the house. We're getting it done tonight. Senior night. Tune in. Let's get to Legends Field, boys. Go Dons.
And with that, turn things over to the freshman game. They're playing right now with about 5 minutes to go in the first half. Senior night gets started at about 6:30, and then the game kicks off at 7:30. Be with us for it all. Go Dons.
Let's go. Let's go, Andy. Let's get it.